What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 22 of the Ipswich Town Road to Glory career mode, and 4 games as usual of the Reading, of the Coventry, of Portsmouth and Crystal Palace yet again. So we are rounding up into the next half of the season, the second half, and obviously we're sitting pretty on top, a fair few points in front, and it's looking quite literally like we're going to win the league. I can't say we're not going to win the league at all, but yeah, coming up against Reading at home. To be fair, like I say, I think the league is ours. I think if we keep our run of form going up as we have been throughout the whole season, yeah, we've obviously lost a couple points here and there against some decent teams, and some teams obviously we've put out that haven't been the best, but when we've put out our full strength team, it has worked properly, and we've literally just walked past this league, and yeah, we're in a position where we are now, where it's back into almost in January. I think at the end of this episode we'll obviously get into a January just with Cardiff beforehand. So once the transfer window comes open, we'll obviously look for a left wing back, just because Leif Davis and Penny, they're 2 good players, but yeah, they're just not that championship quality that, or lower league Premier, that we expect to go up with. Yes, we're looking around the low 70s, and obviously in the Premier League you want to have at least the mid to high 70s for starting off, but yeah, just trying to keep it a little bit realistic. We're not really going to be able to splash out on 7 quality signings where they're all high 70s, low 80s, and we're just going to have to spend at least a few on the low 70s, and then maybe one potentially really good summer signing that's in the midst. I don't know what that would be, whether that's another striker to match Bowden, as we're obviously looking to keep him on. Once it comes January, we should be able to re-sign his contract once again, because that is usually what happens. But Reading just trying to score there, and they can't really get it in. But yeah, once the January transfer window comes around, we'll look at getting a left wing back in, and then when the summer window comes round, we'll obviously have a look at what we need going into the Premier League, hopefully. I mean, touch wood, that is where we actually are going into. I don't really want to say that we're not going to go into the Premier League yet, but there's at least 28 games in, we're halfway through the season anyway, and we're top, so we really should have this wrapped up. And that is another 3 points wrapped up for us against Reading. Lucas, Bowden and Knight all getting late goals towards the final third of the match, and it was quite a tough one. Reading were really good, and it was at this point where I hadn't really played FIFA that much, and I'd been playing a lot of pro clubs, haven't been playing much career mode, and yeah, struggled to get into this game. And eventually, once the goal came, we were able to get an extra 2 on top of that, which is all good. And then obviously we went into Coventry City, so we're playing a fair few 5-3-2 formations. Obviously Reading and Coventry are looking to play those same formations, and we're going to have a bit of a roundup here. Obviously Alessi, Edmondson, Edmondson's already in there, and I think we shoved Lane in as well for Christensen, just to give it a bit of extra spice and a bit of extra, trying to get Alessi up into at least the 70 rated overall, just so he gets that bit more experience for the Premier League, as I wouldn't want him to go into that league at least 68, 69. I know it's obviously what some teams do when they go into the Premier League on FIFA, but obviously we are, like I say, trying to keep it realistic and signing players that are good. And Alessi is a really good centre-back. He's quick, he's strong, and he can play the ball out when he needs to. But, we just want to... He is low rated still, so he's quite young, so he's got a lot of room to potentially grow into at least the high 70s or mid 70s. And McBurney, is that McBurney? No, it wasn't McBurney, it was the lads, I can't pronounce his name. Danny Ward comes to collect the ball, but yeah, Coventry City player just dinks it over the keeper, and yeah, it's forced into a 1-1 equaliser. Now Coventry City are on the attack once again. And yeah, obviously going to tackle that off them and, you know, go on our little counter-attack as well instead. And we're just going to play Harris right through. This should be 2-1. It is 2-1 as soon as I shot and hit the bar. I was like, okay, that's just going to go over, or it's just going to completely miss. But no, it hit the underside of the bar and went directly in, which is what we love to see. 29 goals in his championship campaign for Harris. I mean, yeah, that's absolutely amazing, to be fair. And not to say he is the second highest goal scorer, and you know who is the first, or the top goal scorer, is Bowden. He's only 17 years old at 76 rating. I mean, I know when you're a striker you grow quicker on your development because you're in that firing line, you're getting the goals, you're getting everything, and you will grow quicker, as he's a 76 rated now, and he is surely going to go into the Premier League completely fine. We're not going to have any worries about Lucas. Not Lucas? Well, Lucas as well. He's an exciting prospect. He's 68. I think he's 69 overall now. So, yeah, Lucas is getting up into the 70s, so he might not even need a striker. As I keep probably reiterating throughout these videos, we've got 3 good strikers in Harris, Lucas and Bowden. But, you know, when you're going into the Premier League, you're always going to need that high quality striker that, you know, every Premier League team looks to get, but, you know, sometimes we can't. But I have found one. I'm not going to spoil it just yet or let you know who that is, but obviously it is not an Englishman and anyone from the United Kingdom. It's someone completely different that I probably wouldn't have bought at all, but hopefully we can get the money and he hasn't moved, and then we can just have a quality striker. But like I say, we might need to focus on the goalkeeper because Danny Ward is now 30 and I think Walton is 32 or 28. Either way, they're 2 keepers, 2 good keepers, but going into Premier League, 75 rated, nah, that is just 75 rated is a championship keeper. 80 rated is a Premier League keeper, and that is where we want to kind of get our keepers to. And Danny Ward's not going to get to that overall anytime soon. Walton's not going to get there, and our youth developments are certainly not going to get there either. And now we're going into the 3rd game against Portsmouth, putting the lineup back together. Obviously got Alessi and Endaba and Lane going in the squad for this Portsmouth game, so it could be a tricky one to suss out, but I thought, you know, we've got 2 players up front, and yeah, well, they've got a 4-4-2, so we're going to need some quick defenders at the back. But Harris has a quick dig out shot that goes over the bar, and now Portsmouth of Reed is on the ball. Is he going to look to cross it in? You know, he's going to pass it into Blandy, and Alessi clears the ball out only as far as Harris, which Harris gets into a tussle with the Portsmouth defender, and he gets laid back in, and he's going to finish it with aplomb. I think he's making that 30 goals for his campaign now, which is quite a lot for the Cardiff City striker. It's, you know, when I bought him, that wasn't really what I expected. I mean, I expected to have at least a fair few goals, but, you know, to be honest, when I started this whole thing, I thought, you know, we're going to get out of League One probably quite quickly, and then we're going to stay in the Championship for a little bit. But, you know, even on ultimate difficulty, that's just something about it which is just really easy to play it on once you've got the hang of it. But yeah, Portsmouth with Blundy is yeah, gonna get 1-1 back, equaliser. It's a bit unfortunate, not what we need at all at home. It's obviously going to end half time now. It's going to end 1-1, or is it? No, here he comes. Oh, that literally just ran straight through my defence, and that's not what I want to happen with Hume at all. Tanner gets beaten. Oh, that's another one I made, and FIFA just Yeah, FIFA just messed me over with that one. I was like expecting Danny Ward to come out for the ball, but he never did, and obviously bringing Kamara on for Lane and Burns on for Tanner now just to get that bit of extra pace going down the right hand side and down the middle. But Christensen wins out the ball, plays into Davis, then into Kamara, into Bowden, into Knight, then Lucas. Lucas has a shot, and that is what we love to see from the youngster wearing the number 18 shirt on his back, which is a really nice sight to see. You know, you generally don't see that many strikers wearing the number 18, but I think for Ipswich Town Football Club, the number 18 is definitely synonymous with a good striker, as well as the number 10 and number 9 on the back of the kit. So that's generally what people will run with. But Bowden, wearing the number 10 shirt, fires Ipswich Town back into the lead, 3-2 in front. Can we keep the hold on, or is it all going to go to a little bit of a messy show? And there's 10 minutes left on the back end of the time, but Portsmouth, yeah, 9 minutes to go, they make an equaliser, and then getting onto the next highlight, 8 minutes to go, we're on a counter attack, we completely messed that up, and then Portsmouth plays through Blondie. Blondie has a shot and just fires it past the keeper, making it 4-3 Portsmouth. And yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to end, if I'm all honest. There's not much left to go. Obviously there was a final little counter attack that we had, which meant it went to 95 minutes instead of the 94 minutes. But Blondie is a quality striker, getting him a hat-trick. Obviously, I don't want to buy him at all, but the next game, obviously we've got Crystal Palace once again for our final game of this episode. And, you know, coming off the back of that 4-3 loss against Portsmouth, it's a real tough one to actually, you know, take hold of and actually think that I'm going to go into Selhurst Park with anything other than a win. But, you know, we'll have to see how it plays out and obviously go from there. They're going to play the 4-3-3 formation they had done in the first leg against us in the away match they played. And yeah, no changes at all. Just going to field the strongest lineup that we can as possible. And yeah, 8 minutes in, obviously Crystal Palace on the attack here. Mateta gets played in, and what's he going to do? He's just going to hold it up, tries to find anyone, or is he going to have a shot? No, Wolfton makes a really good tackle. Orang's getting in for the layup on the shot where the ball just bounced out completely randomly, and the goalkeeper Danny Ward had made a fine save. And now Crystal Palace still on the attack, hitting the side net and now next time. And you know, they've just half an hour of constant pressure from the Crystal Palace team, but Wolfton steps in, lays it out into Knight. Knight going to carry it. Now he's laid it off into Bowden. Bowden has the shot, and he does what he does best. He finishes it into the back of the net, and that is a glorious sight to see. Ipswich Town 1, Crystal Palace 0. Obviously going on into the next episode, obviously we've got the few more games left of the season. I mean, yeah, coming into the January transfer window, like I say, we've got a few targets set. We've found our left wing back, and we've had an eye on a few centre backs going into the Premier League season. Obviously there's a few that I want to sort of look at getting, as you know, and Dabber, you know, is good, but I don't think he'll get to the rating that I want him to get to. Now Bowden wins the tackle out and just lays it off into Harris for a nice little sweaty touch there. That is a very nice get your towels out moment, and it's just going to be Ipswich Town's third goal, and that surely is all 3 points coming home to us for Portman Roads away at the Selhurst Park here today. And yeah, there's not really much left to do in this match other than just hold it out and see it through. Obviously 20 minutes left to go and Harris just gets laid through once again. Is he going to sweat it into Bowden? Yes he does. Bowden with the very cheeky Ipswich Town volley, just 360 back kills that into the back of the net, and Crystal Palace have nothing to answer for. The fans are going home. They're just like, what are we watching? You can just see in the background the empty seats that they've left. Obviously they're still waving their flags around, but Banana gets a consolation goal to make it 4-1. But you know, at the end of the day, that's all it really is for Crystal Palace. They're not going to score another 3 goals within the next 10 minutes or so in game, as we're just going to try and lift the ball into Greaves. Greaves knocks it down. Knight, almost made it Ipswich Town 5, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. Now Crystal Palace on the ball. One last attack. Goody, can he score? Yes he can. 93rd minute, and that's how it's obviously going to end, in the 93rd, +3. And yeah, 4-2. What a result. It's better result than the Portsmouth game that we had beforehand, so can't really say too much worries about that. Obviously Harris and Bowden both getting doubles, you know, they're both leading the way in the top goal scorers. But yeah, moving on to the next few games. Obviously got the Cardiff City as the last game of 2023, then the FA Cup tie against Rotherham City, or just Rotherham should we say, at home. That looks to be a quite easy one. Obviously Rotherham are in now League 1 I do believe, but we've got Southampton and Luton going into the following matches. And yeah, it could be a 5-match special just in case we do somehow go into an FA Cup replay against Rotherham. And we are still 18 points ahead of Norwich City, and then they're also equal with Bristol City on 50 points apiece. Hope you've enjoyed. Like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.